Find yourselves at the foothills of a mountain range just east of Silvery Moon in the far north. And set back into the mountain is an archway of beautiful Dwarven stonecraft. 2 high doors have been prized from their hinges and now lie thrown to the sides of a great entranceway. And on these doors, you see scratch marks from some kind of terrible beast or creature that has pulled these heavy doors away, digging deep into the dwarven runes that are carved there. You find yourself standing in front of the tomb of the great Roland Roguebeard. Welcome everyone to another one-shot Hotshots. My name is Robert Peak. I'll be your DM for the night. We'll be playing a self-contained adventure and then basically talking about it and debriefing it afterwards. So we're going to find out how our fearless crew got to the tomb of Roland Roguebeard, what they hope to find or maybe hope not to find within, in just a second after we introduce our characters.
I say, is there anyone here? Yeah, I feel well done.
So let us hit the dance floor. Positions? Oh, by the way, we are being followed. You guys are doing wonderful.
Nobody bites my drinking buddy. I love killing creatures, but making them run in fear feels pretty good too.
And we're back. Earlier that same day, you got a tip that a relative, in fact, a descendant of Roland Roguebeard, had discovered that the tomb had been desecrated. Having traveled to the far north and wanting to ingratiate yourselves to the Dwarven kingdoms, quite possibly to forge an alliance with the coming rumored invasion of the Red Wizards of Thay, you took up an audience with this descendant Grackle Roguebeard in the Starlight Tavern in Silvery Moon. And he explained to you that an adventuring party had already been to the tomb. A party of dwarves well equipped to investigate. And that party has not returned. So having heard of your exploits, having heard what remarkable dungeon delvers you are, he has offered an introduction, quite possibly, to the King of Sundabar, if you were to, in fact, find news of what happened to the tomb and ideally bring back the remains of Roland Roguebeard, or at least his fine dwarven greataxe, whose magical properties are mysterious and yet well known. Big smile from the half-orc barbarian in the group. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there are any questions you have for Grackle Roguebeard in the Starlight Tavern, we can flash forward to the desecrated tomb. And three of you find yourselves standing there somewhat surprised to see that these doors have clearly been taken off by some powerful creature or creatures.
Well, this looks quite ominous. Did we go back, get some more reinforcements?
I mean, these doors don't look that thick. Couldn't have been anything that ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I want to impress the Dwarven king. I'm not getting reinforcements. Let's take this ugly beast on.
Very well. After you,
Okay.
then. You go first.
And it is a narrow corridor. It is a stairway leading down into only partial darkness, for in fact there are torches set along the wall. This ramped decline into the tomb, and the torches are faintly glowing with a bluish magical light, reflecting off the stairs and off the walls, which are completely covered in a thin but visible coating of ice. What's your marching order? Who's going in first?
Yep. The door filler's going in first.
Erki in the lead, eager to impress. And who's second?
I'll go second, if Gideon's all right with being in the rear.
Absolutely.
Marshall second. Gideon, how am I not surprised? Once again, leading from the rear. Okay. Erki, make your way down. The steps are slippery, but not completely impassable. Make yourself way down the first step, the second, the third. Your companions come up behind you. Gideon on the top step, Marshall a couple steps down. And as you hit the fourth step, everyone can give me a dexterity savings throw.
Oh, goody. I do have advantage on them. I just don't have dexterity very much.
Oh boy.
Nat 20!
Not a problem.
Hey.
I don't even need to roll the
Erki.
second one.
First
I'll
nat
keep
20 of the night. Or morning, depending on which country you're in. Nice.
Yeah, I got
Nice.
like a 5.
Okay,
Hey,
a
you got
5.
worse than me. I got an 8.
And an 8. Okay, terrific. Yes. So, Erki, I'm going to give you a second dexterity savings throw. Here's what happens. The stairs collapse into a ramp, an icy ramp. And the moment they do, the floor at the bottom of what's now a ramp opens up into a pit filled with spikes. I'll give you a dexterity saving throw to see if you can catch one of your two companions before they slide down into the pit of spikes. And if you do well enough, I'm also going to let you pick which of your two.
Oh, fun.
Choosing
No offense,
favorites.
whoever I don't. Well, good thing I get advantage on dex saves because that's a 1.
That
Oh,
one.
no. Let's try it
again.
again.
Let's try that again. Let's see how
I got a 14, Robert. I got a 14.
Okay. 14 is unfortunately not quite enough to catch two heavy bodies sliding down an icy ramp, both of whom slide down
no.
into the pit. And you each take.
Can I don't get an action first, do I? Probably
You,
not.
unfortunately, with that horrible dexterity roll,
True.
are going to take a straight 20 points of piercing damage
Yeah.
as you hit
gee.
these spikes. Erki, meanwhile, you manage to grab hold of one of these torches. And as you grab hold of the torch starts to waver a little bit. Once the two of them hit the bottom of the pit, the torch turns sideways. And the covering to the pit closes over again.
Oh, no.
Not good.
Marshall and Gideon are now cast into darkness.
Erki yells, "Can you hear me?"
Give me a
Can we hear you?
constitution check to see if you can shout through what is a pretty thick layer of stone. Constitution check, straight up constitution check, yelling as loud as you can.
Oh, from me.
That's you, yeah. You're the
Oh.
yeller.
I like how he doesn't ask,
Old yeller. Yeah.
Are you okay? It's just, so this is the,
Can you hear me? Yeah.
just
'Cause
can
I
you
got
hear me?
stuff to say about
So that's
stonework.
an 11.
11. Nope, no chance. Your words just come echoing back at you from this slick, ice-covered stone floor. Meanwhile, Gideon and Marshall, you find yourselves in darkness in this spiked pit. Gideon, with your high passive perception, you did notice before you hit the pit, before the thing closed over on you, that the pit was strewn with some bones. So you weren't obviously the first people to have befallen this fate. Also, at the far end of the pit, just as before you were hit a couple of nasty spikes, you see that it looks like someone has attempted to, or actually successfully, carved a tunnel through and has been tunneling through the stonework in the north face. Not a beautiful dwarven stonework tunnel, but just a crude sort of picking their way through. So it appears that there is some kind of tunnel proceeding forward off in the same direction you slipped down.
Marshall will get up and wince and like, okay, maybe you're right about the reinforcements.
Well, we're in this now, and I guess Gideon is going to light a torch or something so we can see
Okay.
around us.
Torch blazes into life, and it is indeed a somewhat macabre scene as parts of skulls flicker back at you in the light, and you see that these stone spikes are darkened with blood.
How are you injured, friend?
I'll manage. But yeah, how do we get back? Can we get back to our half-orc friend? Looking up.
Yeah. Can we see anything?
Go ahead and give me an investigation check, Gideon. Meanwhile, Erki, you're up, and you notice that as the trap sort of reset itself, the torch turned sideways.
Erki's gonna take a look at this torch, see if he can turn it back and open the pit.
All right. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Okay.
And I did an investigation check, and I probably would have saved this for later, but I got a natural 20.
Oh.
Hey!
Stick. Nat 20 on the investigation. Okay. You discover that there is indeed a lever mechanism, a pole made of metal with a hinge up at the top, and then it slides back and forward, and that there must be some kind of mechanism to trigger this high above. You're not exactly sure what, but Erki, how did you do on your investigation check?
I get an 18.
18 is good enough. You manage to find the little trip that manages to allow you to turn the torch back upright. And
Okay.
as you turn the torch back upright, the combination of you doing that and Gideon spotting a little mechanism that he also can sort of rig as well causes the pit to open again and to stay open. And this time, it looks like you'll be able to see your friends and talk to them.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Robert, sorry, really quick. Can I just I want to just cast a little tiny heal.
Oh, little
There's
heal.
20 damages. I want to cast on me and Gideon.
Little quick heal.
I just
Quickie heal.
little worry.
Go for
little
it.
worry. All right. Okay. Just
I
do
hope
a little
that's
mass healing word really quick.
I hope that's its actual name. Little Tiny Heal.
Little tiny heal. That is the actual name of the
Little
spell.
tiny
Yes, that is how it's listed in 5th edition.
I cast Little Tiny Heal.
Little tiny heal on you.
10 hit points to both of us.
Okay.
All right. Let's see your life meters now. And Gideon, with your passive perception high as it is, and now that it is open to the air, there's a kind of draft that flows up from the pit that you're in up to the entranceway that is open in the daylight there. And with this draft, it pulls some air from deeper within this carved tunnel, and the air is absolutely foul and fetid. It smells like corpses. Meanwhile, you also know that above this pit, just so you got the lay of the land, it was a normal floor, and there was an entranceway leading further on, clearly into the tomb. So there are sort of two ways forward through the crudely carved tunnel, or if you wanted to leap up onto the kind of main floor, you could proceed down the normal tomb.
Mhm. Smelling that foul odor, Gideon pulls out his handkerchief with his initials graved in gold, and it's scented, so he just holds it up to his nose, and he says, "I don't want to say I told you so. There appears to be 2 ways we can choose now, or a third. We can go back."
You get a faint waft of a beautiful blonde-haired woman from your handkerchief, stealing your resolve, no doubt.
Well, I don't have. Does anyone here have dark vision? Can we see anything more than?
I do.
Okay. Can
I
you
think you're-
determine anything, Erki?
Erki's up on the ramp at
Oh
the
my god!
moment,
I'm so sorry. I forgot.
dangling from a torch, trying not to turn it again. I'm sure.
Well,
Okay.
I'll give it a look. Otherwise,
Okay.
Erki, you're about 30 feet up on that ramp. If you want to, you could try to kind of toboggan it from torch to torch, or anything else you want. Sort of try and get either side of the wall and make your way down, or you could just slide down onto the spikes. Being Erki, it's really up to you. It's about
I
a
think
30
I'll
foot,
Erki.
30-foot drop.
Yeah, I think I'll toboggan it. You know,
Right.
not
All right.
it's
You'll
too early in
toboggan,
the
they'll
morning
try to
for
slow
spikes.
yourself down as you go. All right,
Yeah,
just give me a
yeah.
straight up athletics check for the
All right.
20 Winter Olympics
Let me check
toboggan
my
team. See how
Plus
you
on
fare.
that. I'm using my okay. Ooh, that's a nice +9, so 26.
26, crikey. Yeah, I mean, you get halfway down and you do a spin, which is pretty cool, and you're kind of going up on the sides. I mean,
Yeah.
it's serious,
Always loved ice skating, and no one can see him.
That's right.
So he's just pirouetting.
You're just doing exactly right. Yeah.
It's like Snoopy on the ice.
Triple
Yeah.
axle finish and right down just before a spike, avoiding all
Okay.
damage. Okay, the 3 of you are down in the pit.
Erki says, it seems to me that they put a pit here because they didn't want us to go the original way. So I recommend the original way if they didn't want us going that way.
So
Plus, I'm sick
go
of
back.
tiny little tunnels.
Should we head back up then?
I do sense there might be some fresh blood on these spikes, and it appears that someone has tunneled a way out of here.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, I'll follow the group.
It matters not to me. Perhaps we are supposed to be finding the remains of the greataxe, so indeed, perhaps we should have a look at the tomb first, which is up.
Yes.
Which is up.
All right. I really just wanted to see the spike pit.
Thinking of redecorating your own place with one of these.
Yeah,
Fine craftsmanship.
Yeah, this would really bring the room together.
Naturally sourced spikes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good for the rumpus room.
I think I've seen enough of this room, and you will see if we can come up somehow.
Okay, yeah. Well, if Erki gives you guys a boost, shouldn't be too much of a problem for you to get up to the kind of next level above. Beautifully carved archway. At the top of the archway, there is an anvil and the figure of a dwarf pounding away at an axe blade. And Erki, you give me an athletics check just to see how you do scrambling up that solo. You boosted your buddies. They're up.
I got a 14.
14's okay. You slip back a little bit. You're not looking nearly as good climbing this thing as you did tobogganing down. But being Erki with a little help from your friends, Marshall, why don't you give me an athletics check? Let's see if you can catch him and pull him up the rest of the way.
Oh. Nat 20. I'm pulling up Erki.
Not a problem. He grabs you and he just up you go. You guys are nat 20ing in all of the
Worst places.
all of the fun, fluffy cases so far.
Unless it's
So
just all nat 20 today.
maybe it's all gonna be nat 20s tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe it's maybe when crunch comes to shove, you guys are gonna nat 20 as well. We're gonna find out. But yeah, not a problem. You just yank Erki up like he weighed half of what he does, and he's up on the floor looking at you.
I'm glad you didn't have a large breakfast, my friend.
I'm not, but I'm sure you are. All right. Cool.
Okay, there's a long hallway ahead of you. The hallway is 80 feet long, but only about 10 feet wide. And this hallway basically leads to a big stone door at the other end. Who's going first?
Yeah.
Erki.
We'll try it again.
Erki,
Take two.
Marshall, and Gideon.
Twist my arm, you know.
All right, you guys. So this room, Erki, is in kind of 7 little segments. It looks like the stones were joined into six squares, and there's 6 kind of squares along the walls. With your dark vision, because it is dark in this room, there are no torches. You notice that little bits scattered to the corner, little chips of bone. In this case, it looks almost like you see it the remains of a butcher, where the bones have been sliced and cut and hacked. Just little chips and pieces. There's a kind of nice little cleanly carved half femur up further ahead, and the ceiling. It's a good 20 feet high, so it's a nice big open ceiling, and it's kind of gabled, but it's gabled in a kind of staggered pattern. It looks like there's one kind of metal beam, and then another metal beam, and then another metal beam, and another metal beam, proceeding on in that way. You assume it's some kind of probably support or reinforcement, something like that, for the roof. Oh, and the floor is a bit warm, weirdly enough. The walls are coated in ice, but the floor seems to be ever so slightly warm, bit of underfloor heating or something going on, and that is gradually melting the sides of the walls. The ceiling, however, and all of these metal rafters are indeed coated in thick ice.
This is a very weird room, and people have died here.
There was
Marshall
one
wants
trap.
to-
There may be more.
I'm gonna light a torch, Robert.
All right, a torch you light, Marshall in the middle, and you can have a look in there as well. Anything in particular you're looking for?
The door. How far are we from those other doors?
So they're not doors; they're just basically panels of stone.
Oh, okay.
It's an 80-foot straight chute to the far doors that are, of course, 20 feet high.
So 80 feet.
Each door is
down
5
those
feet
doors.
across. It's a 10-foot 10-foot hallway.
I just want to kind of look around to see if I can notice anything more odd with the floor than the warmth. Well, I guess what it is, Marshall's a little concerned about traps now, even though Marshall's not that great at sensing traps. He just wants to do what he can to think that he can find some traps. He thinks he can find some traps.
Wish you took a level in rogue at this point, huh?
Yeah.
All right, give me a wisdom perception check first of all. You are behind Erki, but Erki, I think, will probably let you peer into the room.
We'll look under Erki's armpit.
Under his armpit. He's easily done. His armpit comes up to about your shoulder, I think. Your head.
22.
Okay, very good. Some strange things about this. Obviously, the fact that it's very warm. But you notice that the melting pattern, these kind of seams, these places where the segments of stone join, are warming faster than the rest. And your torch actually is helping that effect. You having lit a torch, the crevices are warming faster, and the ice between them is melting. What's interesting about this is that you know that Dwarven stonemasonry is generally phenomenally tight, just absolutely dead perfect. So the fact that there are even these pretty considerable sized, good inch or two seams filled with ice is curious and strange to you. You also notice that the rafters aren't sort of bolted in as you would expect, or joined to the stone in the same way you would expect. In fact, it looks like they're sort of resting in a way on the ice, these big steel beams at angles. With that, you give me an investigation check as well.
All right. I want to say, you are right. This is a weird room. 7.
7.
Oh,
You're really not sure what to make of all of this, what all of this means, but you definitely think it's odd the way that this room is built. It doesn't seem like a typical long dwarven hall.
My friends, I don't know what to make of this room. It seems odd. But I don't feel comfortable about walking into this room as it
no.
is.
Let
I
me.
explained to them like the seams. The architecture seems a little off to me.
Mhm. Well, I know very little about Dwarven architecture, but I can I can have a look before we proceed. And Gideon casts a spell, and he's casting detect magic. It lasts for 10 minutes, just as we proceed. See if he might spot something before we get to the tomb.
Okay, as you're proceeding, you cast detect magic and you begin to make your way into the room. Erki and Marshall, you get a little ways into the room, and Gideon, by the time you get up to where Marshall's torchlight is, you see that these seams are glowing, and indeed the metal rafters, these staggered angled rafters overhead, are glowing as well. They're glowing at the place where they join. So there's something magical about the place they join, and there's something magical in nature about these seams. And how much, remind me, how much stone that the detect magic can penetrate? Is it like an inch of
The spell
stone?
can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by 1 foot of stone.
1 foot
Oh.
of stone.
Mm.
The floor is also glowing as well. So this source of warmth underneath is somehow magical also.
Mm-hmm.
And as you proceed your way gently into the room.
This feels a bit like that tunnel in Resident Evil, where there's like all these traps and laser beams, and
Yeah.
everything
Gauntlet,
is
little
gonna.
gauntlet.
Yeah.
Mhm. It does feel quite a bit like we're going to be lit on fire and then the ceiling's going to collapse on us. You know.
Dear, note to
But yet
self.
here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, you guys creep your way gently in, and by the time Gideon gets all the way into the room,
Mm.
you hear the ice in these seams begin to creak and then crackle.
Can I cast a spell?
Mhm.
I don't know if it's gonna work, but if I sensed it was magical, so I'm gonna try to cast dispel magic on it and see what that
Okay,
does.
dispel magic as your kind of reaction.
Mhm.
Let's have a look. I think generally speaking, it doesn't work so well on objects or things that have been permanently enchanted. It's more of a
Yeah.
counter spell, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Creature, object, or magical effect, 3rd level or lower spell ends. Okay. All right. So you cast detect magic as your reaction, and the floor is no longer warm. However, by this time, the ice has begun to give way. And you see that those metal rafters overhead were not rafters, but in fact pendula. And on the end of these pendulums, there are, of course, large slicing devices. Basically, looks like the enormous head of an axe. And all 6 of them break free at once and begin swinging back and forth within this hallway. Erki, you are in position to give me a dexterity savings throw, as is Gideon. Marshall, you are between 2 that are sliding across, standing on a stone that is just between the pendula. 2 dex savings throws.
Oh, I get advantage on them, so I guess I'm doing 4 rolls.
Yeah. No,
Oh.
no,
Okay.
sorry. No, you do a dex savings throw, and Randy does a dex savings throw.
Yeah.
So just
Okay.
2 rolls. Take the higher.
Well, I got a 4 as my high, so
Okay, that's not
Yeah.
very high.
Mhm.
So
no.
you and Gideon, how did
I
you do?
got an unnatural 20.
An unnatural 20 is just enough, Gideon. And you manage to jump back just in time. So you and Marshall are now separated by a rapidly swinging pendulum blade. Erki has no such luck, and the blade goes slicing across your back, Erki, for 30 points of slashing damage as you are
Damn.
parflayed.
With that solid 4? All right.
I know, right? It's a cruel DM. It's a cruel DM.
Tough
Oh my
It
goodness.
doesn't
axe.
let your 4 count.
Oof. All right.
Right.
Here's another fine predicament we find ourselves in.
All right. The pendulums are now swinging rapidly back and forth, such that you're going to need to find a way to get to each other and get to the other end of this hallway. And just sauntering down the hallway is no longer an option.
Gideon, do you think perhaps you can create an exit for us? Or one of us?
I could for one of us, indeed. If I could get to you.
Like, how long is the pendulum? How thick? How much space between me and Gideon, Robert?
When it is in swing, it is pretty much completely covering the space. And when it swings back, there's just a gap of a few seconds before it swings back the other direction.
As I look forward, there is the pendulums are right on us basically, but there is a safe space in front of the panels, the doors.
Yes, there's a safe space in front of the doors. Correct.
Well, as you may know, I do have an ability to get one of us across, but we're gonna have to get close to each other for that then.
Yeah. The only other thing I could think of is if there's some way we could stop them. Erki, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm great. I just never been hit by a giant axe before. I'm understanding what that's like a little. It's not fun. I'm wondering if over time the pendulum, the momentum would stop it, but this is a magical property. Is there anything to block it with?
There are bits of bone scattered about, little sliced fragments of bone. You think you know what sliced them now.
Yeah.
The stone itself is pretty solidly joined one to another, so you're not sure that you could actually pull up the stone per se.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to be slowing down. It's only been a few seconds, but they don't seem to be losing momentum yet.
How many are between us? Like, between, let's just say Erki. How many are between Erki and, I guess you would call it, safety, or at least out of the pendulum zone? There one or
Out
two
of the pendulum zone. So you guys are sort of midway in there.
Yeah.
So there's 6 of them. So we've got Erki kind of in the middle, who's obviously at this point knocked back. Marshall, who was unharmed, and Gideon. So if you think in terms of squares, you guys are sort of Gideon's on square 2, Marshall square 3, Erki square 4, and there are 3 more squares, if you like, ahead of Erki. 3 more safe spaces where there are not pendula swinging.
I could, if it's possible, if we time it, maybe I can give Erki my shield, and he can use that to help like block it or go through it. Or
I would think you two get together and use Gideon's abilities to get to the other side.
Yeah.
And
then maybe
if you give Erki a little healing, he'll just find his way across with
power
your shield.
through it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so can I cast a heal on Erki, and then, if possible, what I want to attempt to do, if there's a way to slide it in between pendulum things, I mean, roll for it, or I don't want to just straight throw it, because I don't think Marshall could throw that accurate.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're going to try and get the shield to Erki.
Yeah, and then
there is a gap in the pendulum swing itself, and the beam doesn't completely obscure the hallway when it comes across. So there is a gap there that you can kind of try and put stuff through. The danger with trying to put it through the blade is it could get slashed, and the danger with trying to put it through where that big beam is swinging, that it could get crushed against one of the wall as it's swinging.
Right.
So go ahead and dex checks. You try and fling your shield. Yeah.
I'm gonna bardic inspire him before he does that.
All right.
Just gonna say, I am with you from now and until the end. You are bardic inspires with 1d8.
Okay, let me just cast this heal on Erki first if I can. Cast it at 3rd level. 2, 4. That's 5 plus 12. 17. Something.
All right.
Something, my friend. All right. And then,
Feels
okay,
better.
so now let me roll to yada. D8 bardic inspiration, right? Get the lucky dice. Did you say Dex, Robert?
Dex. Yep. If you've got like, I don't know, if you got sleight of hand or something like that, you could argue for it, but
No, I don't.
no.
18.
18. With an 18, you managed to get the shield
Oh, okay.
relatively unharmed over to your buddy Erki. It does, however, at the very end get a little dented, and the beautiful symbol of Osiris is slightly marred.
It's okay. It looks cooler, I think. Trying to show you.
And a knight in yeah.
He held it next to his back that just got flayed. See, look, it's cool. Scar's cool.
Very
match.
He's
Well,
the first church of heavy metal, the high priest.
Yeah. A knight in shiny armor is a knight who hasn't seen battle. Looks good. It's an improvement.
Oh, excellent. All right, Erki, you got the shield.
All right.
What's the plan?
So, Father Marshall, you or I?
If we can, at least get cleared so we can cheer him on from the side, as we seem to do often.
Mm-hmm. So on 3, and he makes ready to just that we try to grab each other's hands,
like the high five or something.
High five.
Right.
High five teleportation.
All right, hands across the pendulum.
Try to time it, just like
we want to time it. We can, if we want us
you
to
want
roll
to time it
around.
so that you create contact, and then you're going to cast
Dimension Door.
Dimension Door. So go ahead and expend that spell slot now. And
before I go, I'm just gonna look over my shoulder towards Erki, and he says, "Erki, darling, you know I'm only bringing him because I'm sure that you can make this on your own, and you are fighting inspired."
Oh, what a way with words!
I know. Even his disses basically are inspiring disses. Like, you know. All right, Marshall and Gideon, give me that deck check for the high 5 of your life. Right, let's see how we do.
All right, now do I need to roll the bardic inspiration before?
No, you can see the result on the D20
Okay.
and then decide if you spend your die.
Yeah.
Have a die.
Man, I mean, to get in as a musician, I would rather not lose a hand.
No, that would be bad for Gideon.
Okay.
19.
19. Pretty solid. And Gideon?
That rolled 5 on the bardic die.
Yeah, I got a 10.
10. Okay, a 19 and a 10. All right. So you go to make the high 5. Marshall, you're on point. You're there. You're ready. And Gideon comes in a little too late. You managed to pull your hand back. Not a problem. But Gideon, you're going to have to give me a dex save now.
No.
Not much better. What's that? What is that? 14.
14. 14 is not very good. You take 12 points of bludgeoning damage as your hand gets momentarily crushed against the wall by the rafter of the pendulum. 12 points of bludgeoning damage, and one of your fingers is no longer operable. I'm assuming you were using your dominant hand to do the high five as well.
I
Left or
guess, yeah, I
right-handed?
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he left or right-handed?
Right, I think, yeah.
Right-handed, yeah. So that would be your strumming hand,
Yeah.
and one of your fingers has just been completely smashed against the wall.
Okay, not severed.
Not severed,
Broken, maybe.
but you
Yeah.
just can't move it. It's
Oh,
just
man.
it's not you basically got to pick at this point for your loot rather than a finger
Oh,
picking.
man. Oh, that didn't work.
Ouch. No, it
Didn't work
did
so
not.
well.
Mm.
Erki, how you doing up there?
I'm ready to move forward. You know, I don't have any dangerous games of patty cake to play. Just got a shield and got to get moving. Is that the plan? Are we now going to try to? Are you guys going to try to do what you did again?
We can try, or I don't know what else to do.
My only thought is maybe if I get to the other side, there may be a lever or something that'll trip
you
this.
see if you can go for it, and then that way,
Okay.
while Gideon's tending to his hand, we'll figure something out.
Okay. What's the dexterity plus to the shield?
You get a
shield.
+2 to your armor class?
Yeah, 2 AC.
Plus. Oh, so it doesn't improve my dexterity rolls, basically. Okay.
It doesn't improve your rolls, but it may decrease your damage.
Oh,
You
okay.
may
Well,
be-
thank you.
yeah,
So I'm a 17
Arcane's
armor.
kind of thinking that way.
Oh,
You're an
that's
AC 17
nice.
while you got that, but you can't wield your greataxe.
Great axe while I have it. Okay.
It's not
All right.
two-handed
So
anyway.
I'll just try to time it. If you've ever seen The Rock, Sean Connery's just waiting for his moment to start rolling through the fire tunnel there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's got his hand going.
I'm just thinking of Frogger this whole time. I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
Of Frogger.
Yeah.
You've got 3 pendulums to clear. Let's go with
Okay.
the first one. Dexterity acrobatics check.
So it's not a save; it's a check.
It's a check
Is that
because
right?
you're actively attempting to do something rather than using your reactions to avoid something as you were before.
Okay. All right. Well, this will be something else then. Roll number 1. Ooh, that's a 19.
Remember, you get these at advantage.
I do. Oh.
Don't you get your dex checks at advantage? Oh no, only saving throws. Only saving throws.
Only
for the
saving
barbarian.
throws.
That's right.
So,
because
yeah,
of your.
yeah.
Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, 19. First one, you manage unscathed. Well done.
Little mini fist pump. Feeling it, getting confident. Go again. That's a 13. I'm going to use a bardic inspiration there. So 17.
17 is enough to get across, but not quite enough to escape unscathed. You take 20 points of slashing damage.
Oh, jeez.
Fortunately, your shield, as you manage to get it off to one side, takes a lot of the brunt of it. But you still take a hefty amount of damage with your 17. You are the other side, however, and you've got 1 more.
All right, here we go. So 14.
14 is not enough either to get you over to the other side or to avoid damage. You are knocked back, and that final pendulum is still swinging back and forth. You again take 20 points of slashing damage.
Oh, wow. Ugh. I'm going to do it again. Now he's mad at it. He yells at it. You try that again, and I'll do something to you. I'll figure it out.
I'm going to give you an inspiration point for not waiting for the long-range heal first, as you're, I'm guessing, pretty well within being incapacitated range here.
Yeah, I try to punch
and also
it,
just generally yelling at inanimate objects feels feels like such an in-character thing to do. So.
Yeah, he's just screaming. You guys just hear some cursing. All right,
Echoing
so here we go.
across the chamber.
Oh, that's a 17 total.
17 manages to get you across, but not avoid damage. You are now in front of the doors and taking another 20 points of slashing damage. How you looking, Erki?
Yeah, how you looking, Erki?
I'm not going to be trying to cross any pendulums anytime soon. That was the last pendulum attempt there.
Oh my
That was
goodness.
your
I am.
last gasp before you
I'm
start.
looking like a level 1 monk halfling over here.
Okay,
Anyway,
Erki,
he says,
dripping with
try
blood.
to be tough. Like, I made it.
Just
Real
think
nice
about
over
all
here.
the cool new scars you're gonna have from this particular
He's,
expedition.
he's already like, that one's going to look extra cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great one. Oh,
Yeah.
some lemon juice in that one, just make it kind of stand out.
Yeah.
Huge 20-foot high stone doors, each one 5 feet across, so 10 feet in total. And you are standing before them. There doesn't appear to be any obvious handle or knocker or anything like that. But off to your side, off to your right, carved into the stone is a hammer, and off to your left, carved into the stone, is an anvil.
Is there anything that will stop these pendulums from swinging around?
It's a great question.
Anything I see looks...
Investigation check.
All right. -1 to a 16. Okay, 16
is okay. You think something about these two carved reliefs may potentially help you here.
Okay.
You're not exactly sure what. You might need a little help from your buddies.
Okay.
But you have a feeling that there is some way. There's got to be some way from this side, from the good side, to stop the pendulums and to open the doors.
So there's a hammer on one and an anvil on the other. Okay, I tell them, that's what I see. I don't know what it means. What do you think? I don't recommend doing what I did.
Yeah. It did not look easy.
Didn't feel easy. Didn't feel easy.
Okay. I guess I will see how bad Erki looks, and before I do anything, I want to just cast a Cure Wounds on him.
Cure Wounds on who?
Erki.
Don't you have to touch him to do that?
Oh no, Healing Word. Sorry.
Okay.
Wrong one.
Yeah.
Healing Word. I always forget which one. I guess word. Say the words. That's the one.
Use your words.
Yeah.
Use your words.
The one that I can't touch. There you go. Other than that, I don't know. Gideon, do you dare try it again? I don't want you to have to lose 2 hands.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you think? I guess there's no other way. I mean, I guess we could try it again, and this time I will be teleporting. I guess with or without you. Does that sound?
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, kids.
Okay. Sorry, really quick. Erki, heal for 27 points. I cast it at the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm
Are you
now
still...
above bloodied.
Okay. Oof. Damn. Are you still? Yeah.
Yeah, just technically above bloodied there.
Yeah.
I can do more when I get closer. That's the best I can do from right here.
Yeah. For sure.
We're getting cut up pretty good. I'm not blooded yet, but close.
Okay,
right.
Is Marshall still Bardic inspired?
No, I used it.
Okay. So Gideon's gonna say once again, well, Father Marshall, let's make this count and try to inspire you as well again.
I appreciate it. I wish I could offer you the same confidence, but unfortunately, I have to touch you to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is it then.
Yep.
Dexterity.
Gideon, let's applause yourself with each other.
Blow it up, guys.
Right.
Okay, here we go.
Deck save, right?
A dex check. A dex check. You're actively.
And
attempting to do
what?
this.
Damn, really?
Yeah. And as I said, if you have something like sleight of hand or something you can convince me, you can use. But it is a dex check.
Okay, I roll good this time.
Oh,
Luckily.
thank goodness for that bardic dice.
Oh.
19.
Right.
I
and
got
Got a
Gideon?
7 on the bard dice.
Nice. Unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20. And with that, you momentarily feel your hands make contact. Never have you been more grateful for a high five. You are transported next to Erki. You are standing at the door. This huge stone door remains sealed, but you are there, and the pendulums are still swinging behind you, grinding away in their sockets.
Hate those things.
Hope we don't have to go the same way back.
All right, I'm
I
gonna
told
heal
you we should have used that tunnel where the spikes were.
I
right.
We're getting a lot of things today. Getting our bits for one.
Gideon, perhaps you two can try to figure out how to get us out of here and move us on, or stop those things, or call someone for help. I don't know. Let me tend to our wounds.
Mhm.
So we have a hammer and an anvil,
Mm.
and they're on opposite sides of each other on the walls. May as well, I don't know, touch them.
Mm. I think normally the hammer goes on the anvil. Are they statues? Are they murals? Or what are they exactly?
It would be carved reliefs. They're carved into the stone, so they stand proud out from the stone.
Well, you touch the hammer, I touch the anvil.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Well.
before I do that, let me roll this healing up. Before we touch anything
Yeah.
else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't touch anything. I'm healing you.
All right, I'm doing
Don't
mass
touch
cure
anything.
wounds.
Don't touch anything till I touch you. Understand?
Mass cure runes at my 5th level slot. 14 plus 12. 14 plus 12.
26.
26 healing to everyone.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that is so great.
Before you go touching anything. Okay, all right. Touch away, Macbeth. Touch away.
All right.
Right.
I shall,
I'm
but
ready.
Gideon conscious his mage hand. He's not touching it with his own hand this time.
Okay. Gideon's mage hand. And remind me, so Gideon, your mage hand is touching the hammer?
No, the anvil.
The anvil. Your mage hand is touching the anvil, and Erki, your real hand is touching the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as you do, you feel a cold coming out from the stone into your hand, chilling you momentarily to the bone. And as you each stifle a shiver, the pendula gradually wind their way down. And as they wind their way down to vertical, they then go out and reset themselves. The moment they click back into place, you see ice begin to form magically in the crevices. And the ice is thick and solid because there's no longer a source of heat in the floor. And as soon as they are securely put away, the doors part and open of their own accord inward into a vast chamber. Marshall, you still have your torch lit?
Yep.
So the three of you can see this chamber is easily about 80 feet by 80 feet with 40-foot high ceilings, just like 3-4 story high ceilings. And there are vast stone columns, a kind of 4x4 grid of vast columns. Except at the very far end in the distance through the columns, you can see a raised platform. And on this raised platform, there is a sarcophagus, obviously that of a dwarf. There are a few steps leading down, and on the steps, you see a man a man in a blue robe kneeling and mumbling something. Off to the right, you also see that while the rest of this room is completely intact and there's beautiful stonework, just off to the right on the right-hand wall, there's a tunnel that has been made, a crude tunnel that's been sort of bored through with some kind of tools. And there's bits of rubble all strewn on the floor.
Do I see anything magical? It lasts 10 minutes to detect magic. From here,
Yes.
it's only 30 feet.
The man himself appears to be holding some kind of medallion or something like that is glowing brightly with magic. He's muttering something. Gideon, with your high passive perception, you hear something about life and death and winter. And then he hears the doors open and turns and says, "Attack them." And everybody can roll for initiative.
Oh.
Hey!
So Erki gives Marshall his shield back.
Good idea.
And Marshall just kind of looks at it and is like touching all the cracks and the scratches and all this stuff. Oh, my poor baby.
An unnatural, or unnatural 20, a 20.
20 for Erki.
15 for Marshall.
15 for Marshall.
6 for Gideon.
6 for Gideon. Okay, and we've got one more lovely surprise to roll for, and that is okay. With that, let's just make sure we got your ACs right. So we've got Gideon at 14, Erki at 15.
Yep.
And Marshall still at 17, yes?
Right. Now that I have my shield back.
All right. Your buddy in the blue robes looks behind him, sees you. He is up first. He comes towards you, dodging in and out of the columns. You see him dodge behind a column. And with that, Erki, you notice what looks like a beautiful blue snowflake appears in front of you and flies toward you. And in doing so, let's see, a 13 is not enough. Attempts to basically fly at you and attack you. It just materializes out of nowhere. And this clearly sharp-bladed snowflake whizzes by your head as you dodge out of the way just in time. Erki, you are up. This guy is probably about 60 feet away from you behind a column. And you notice from behind several other columns now are appearing dwarves. Undead dwarves.
Oh.
Dwarves whose faces are twisted and withered, whose helmets are dented and battered, and they are carrying crude weapons like pickaxes. One of them just has a bunch of rocks in his fist, another carries a club, and they are dragging towards you. And Gideon, you get a whiff of these things, and they smell like death itself.
Wow.
You can see at least 4 of them peering out from behind pillars.
Erki yells, "Did you just attack me with a snowflake?" And he goes into rage and travels the full 40 feet, hopefully obscured behind a pillar as he approaches this fellow.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something to fight?
As you
On
round
the way?
along the way, yes, there are pillars with other these kind of ghoulish dwarves behind them.
Okay.
You could certainly go up and engage one of them, or you could get close enough to the cultist, to this
Oh, I can
weird
get to
hooded
the.
figure. No,
I
I'm sorry.
can
No,
get
he's
to
60 feet away. He's 60 feet
60
away. So you can get up
because
close,
I.
but you can get to one of these ghoulish creatures if you choose to.
I'd rather go the full 40
Full 40. Okay.
and
So you're
be.
behind.
Yeah, I guess prepare a dodge action
Okay.
or a. Yeah, it sounds
So you've
fine.
got dodge, and you also can be behind a pillar, so that any kind of ranged attack, certainly you'll get the bonus of the cover as well. But you're
Okay.
basically behind one pillar, and the next pillar up, this guy's
Okay.
behind. He's only about 20 feet away
Well,
from.
maybe I'll go to the pillar and prepare an attack action in case a dwarf runs up on me.
Okay, so in case anything runs
Yeah.
up on you rather than dodge, you've got a bit of cover. But as soon as something comes around that pillar, you're ready with your great axe. Marshall, you're up.
Did that guy just try to attack Erki with winter? I want to attack my
Winter
friends with
cold.
winter. Can I tell? Does Marshall identify these creatures as undead?
Yeah, Marshall, you having been able to see them now, it's pretty clear to you that these are ghouls.
Okay, and what I want to do is I want to move to where I can at least move up so that I'm in range of them to do turn undead on them. But I also don't want. I want to if I have some cover from the guy. I want to try to maximize my ability to as many as I can see with 30 feet.
Okay, you can see 4 of them within 30 feet.
Yeah.
And they each need to make
Wisdom saving throw against DC 16.
DC 16. Okay,
Yeah.
let's roll this up. That's why we have a lot of D20s. DC 16 wisdom saves coming up.
Okay, and Marshall will be like, I'll handle these little ones, and then I'll go up there and Cyrus, push you back to the gate.
And Osiris is with you. All 4 of them fail their wisdom saving throws.
Yeah. So they're just going to run away from me as best they can on their turns.
Okay. On their turn, they will run away from you as fast as they can.
And that's all I want to do, as long as I'm like a little bit of pillar cover from range damage.
Okay. With that, they are up next. 4 of them go racing toward the only exit that you guys are not, effectively blocking, which is this tunnel back off on the right-hand side as you face the altar. But out from behind pillars come 5 more ghouls. They all gradually emerge. They're walking at a kind of normal pace, and we can have 3 of them reach Erki, and 2 more are approaching Marshall, and they hide behind pillars just in front of you, Marshall. The 3 that reach Erki go to attack.
Like cockroaches.
Let's see. We've got a 20, a 22, and a 16.
So
3
Erki
hits.
he gets a attack, right? Since he prepared it.
He does, yes. And
Yes,
the moment
okay.
they go to attack, you get your attack against one of them. Well, actually, no, you get your normal number of attacks that you get, which you can divide however you see fit.
Oh, great. So that's a 10.
Okay, they are AC 12s. They're AC
Okay.
12s. They're natural
So the
armor.
second attack is going to hit for 17 damage.
17. Okay, and this one is now badly injured. It looks like any solid hit would take it out completely.
Okay, great. So they all hit me then.
No, so that's your 2 attacks. You don't have another. You don't have a third attack.
No. No,
Okay.
I have two attacks.
2
Not
attacks.
frenzied.
Not friend.
No.
Just raged.
You're not frenzied at the moment. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. With that, they are now going to make their attacks, and they do. So we got 3 hits. That is 21 points of damage, and it is cold damage as they hit you with their claws and their improvised weapons. You notice that they are covered in ice. Their armor, their clothing is frozen to them, and the damage they inflict is cold damage. It's 21 points of damage, and now you must succeed on a Constitution savings throw.
Okay. That is a 25.
Not a problem. Their weird claws and weapons, it's clear that there's something magical to them. You feel momentarily your body wanting to freeze. And you notice also some other ghouls are gathering, just as those ones that you turned are fleeing into the excavated tunnel. Some others are coming right up behind it and peering around curiously. These ones, interestingly, though, are not dwarves, but are full humanoid sized. And with that, Gideon, you are up.
Yeah. Okay. So first, he's like try to bandage his hand basically with whatever he has, a piece of cloth or something like that. But luckily, he won't be playing his flute anytime soon, most likely. But he will be casting a spell, just weaving his magic, and he's going to cast Dissonant Whispers on one of the closest ghouls. Is there one that is in melee with both Marshall and Erki, perhaps?
No, there's three mobbed on Erki behind a pillar. You can see him and them. There's 2 others sort of lying in wait for you guys behind pillars.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast Dissonant Whispers on one of the ghouls. Wisdom save.
Okay,
DC
there's one
17.
that's badly wounded, and there's 2 others. Which do you want?
One of the 2 others. Full health.
Okay, DC 17 Wiz save is a fail. What happens?
It takes 15 psychic damage.
Okay, and it is also badly wounded as the damage goes ringing through its twisted undead body.
And with that, it has to use its reaction to run away from me, which will trigger an opportunity attack from Erki.
It will indeed, and so it runs away from you toward the blue-robed man, and Erki, you get a swipe at it.
Nice.
All right. That is a hit for 10 damage.
And how do you take it down as it flees?
I hit it in the back really hard with an axe.
That sounds like a good strategy to me. And down it goes.
That
And
old
as
chestnut.
as it hits the ground, its body shatters into tiny fragments of ice.
That's cool.
Thank you.
So all right. So there's still 2 ghouls, and then there are more coming basically from the back of the room.
Correct. There's 2 on Erki, 2 lying in wait, 4 retreating down the tunnel, and several that have appeared at the tunnel that are eager to meet you.
Say hello. Yeah. We have to move fast. These halls do look quite appropriate for a dance macabre. Positions, and he uses Mantle of Inspiration to give everybody 8 temporary hit points, and you can move with your reaction, but I guess Erki can't move now that I think about it. Yes, he already used his reaction.
No, he deferred his action, so he still. Use his reaction for the opportunity attack. Thank you. You're absolutely right.
Indeed.
Okay, let's go in turn order, starting with Gideon. So Gideon, any move?
Can I see the only other living guy in the room?
The guy in the blue robe? No, he's behind a pillar, but you know which pillar he's behind. He's the one just above Erki off to the left.
How far away from me is he?
He is, let's see, he is 60 feet.
Yeah. I would like to move closer, but like behind a pillar, also hiding.
Okay, yeah, you can get up and behind a pillar. You know there's a couple of ghouls lying in wait for you. So as
Yeah.
you do kind of move around one of the pillars, you move around one where you think a ghoul may be lying in wait.
I'm trying to
But
hide
another
from it.
one does manage. Oh no, they don't provoke opportunity attacks. Nope, you manage to
Yeah.
sneak your way right past this thing in a blur of golden light.
Mhm.
Great. Okay, you're behind a pillar, playing hide and seek with one of these cultists. With this guy. Erki, you get an opportunity to move if you choose, and it won't provoke opportunity attacks from these guys.
Erki does.
Right. I think, yeah.
Oh,
I
sorry,
think
no,
Erki's
Erki
good.
doesn't. I take it back. Erki doesn't. You've already used your reaction for the opportunity attack.
Oh,
Apologies.
okay.
Thanks for
Great,
reminding
great.
me. Marshall, you are up.
Well,
This is
Move
just
if you
move.
choose
We're
to.
just doing the move, right? Yeah. Okay.
Just a move if you want it.
So Gideon's you move to where Gideon has like a line on this guy, right?
Not yet. I'm hiding behind a pillar, but moving closer.
But how far is Gideon from the guy? I forgot. Like 20 feet, 30 feet.
Probably
Gideon is
30.
20 feet away. Yeah, the pillars
Okay.
are all spaced about 20 feet.
I kind of think I want to like form up with Gideon just so that we're near each other. Because if we have to ever do anything,
Great.
if that's all right, if that's all right with you,
Gideon,
Gideon.
Easy to high five when you're both behind the same pillar.
Yeah.
All right, Gideon and Marshall, you're behind a pillar basically just to the east or to the right of this guy, and Erki, you're one just kind of to the effectively the south or below it. You're closing in. If this were a stakeout, you'd have your kind of guns drawn. Okay. And anything else, Gideon, on your turn?
No.
Okay. The blue hooded figure is up next. He moves back toward the altar and raises up this symbol, a kind of snowflake-like symbol. And he again begins chanting and facing the sarcophagus of the dwarf. And he now has his back to you. Erki, you're up.
So Erki got attacked with a snowflake, and then he killed something that didn't bleed. He's getting real mad now. He's going to go into frenzy mode
Right.
with his bonus action, and then that's interesting. I think he'll just fight these two dwarves and then deal with the mage next. So he'll aim first at the one that's already beat up real bad.
Yeah.
And that will hit.
All right.
For a lot of damage. For 19
That's a lot of damage. Okay.
Yeah.
Take him out. And again, he shatters as you finish him off.
All right, cool.
There's one more on you.
Okay, big
more waiting
attack.
in the wings and a few.
That's a hit for 16.
16. Okay. He's also badly wounded.
Okay. I think he will yell to his companions, "Take care of the magic user!" And he's ready for more undead.
Bring on the undead. And you're in luck if you like undead.
Oh,
you'll love
Show
this.
us door number 3. It's more
That's
undead.
Right. Hey, it's more undead. All right. That's the end of your turn. Marshall, you are up.
Did Bauhaus start playing undead?
Yes, this guy's named Bela Lugosi, in fact. It's actually the name of the blue-robed cultist.
Lela Lugosi.
Lela Lugosi, that's right. It's a creative name.
Okay. So how many do I see now that are not actively running away?
So you got a couple below you that were kind of poised. You know, they were going to try and get the drop on you, but you guys snaked around thanks to Gideon's fancy footwork spell. And there are, let's see, you can see 3 waiting in that tunnel, but it's dark in the tunnel, so there may be others. 4 of them scrambled over the others that are coming forward to try to get as far away from you as possible on their turn. And these 3 again are human-sized. They are not dwarves.
Okay. Are they within 30 feet, or are they farther?
They're a bit further, but you could move over to them and get within
Okay.
30 feet.
That's. I could.
Yeah, yeah.
I think what I'm gonna do though is I'm just gonna hold my ground here, and for what I can see that's within 30 feet that hasn't been affected, I'll just do turn undead again on them.
Okay. Wisdom save DC
16. 1-6.
16.
Not to
2
be all
fails.
warlock with eldritch blast, but I cast turn undead.
2 fails. So the 2 ghouls lying in wait and the one that's on Erki.
Yep.
You can get all of those.
All right. Cyrus, push him back.
Push them back. Okay. The 2 ghouls that are near you go running for the tunnel.
Mhm.
They can't quite make it on their turn, but they. Oh, sorry. No, they can dash. That's right. They dash.
Yeah, they
So
dash. That's all they
make,
do is dash.
They can make
yeah.
their way into the tunnel. And the one that was on Erki is also dashing for the tunnel. Erki, you get an opportunity attack if you choose to.
Don't mind if I do. That is a natural 20.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. And that's so fun because I get to roll a 3d12 plus 8. So that's 10, 14, and 10. It's 24 plus 8 damage. So that's 32 damage. That is so much damage.
Oh,
I just
nice.
take my axe and leap, and it just goes through the top of its head, and it just goes all the way down, splits it like a hot dog, and then it shatters, which isn't as
The
fun.
sheer
But
force of it splitting through the middle. It's like a powder of snow goes flying in all directions. And yeah, it's just this fine dust of snow everywhere. You literally made a snow cone out of this guy.
Yeah. Erki sensed his ancestors with him. It was a moment of poetry.
Beautiful. Okay, 3 more ghouls come running into the room, and they're sort of making their way toward the altar. And behind them, there are 3 more ghouls, again full-sized, humanoid-sized, who are waiting at the entrance of the tunnel, while some of the Dwarven ghouls are again still trying to run as far away from Marshall as they can.
Imagine it kind of looks like Black Friday in that hallway.
It does.
Some
It's
coming in, some
shoppers
coming
coming in,
out.
shoppers going out. Everybody's trying to get a bargain. Actual CCTV footage of Black Friday at Walmart. Gideon, you're up.
Say again, how many the ghouls are there on us right now? They're only like they're coming, right? There's not anyone right
They're
here.
coming. There's nothing actually on
No,
you.
no, fine.
They're racing to the side of you assume their master, this blue-robed cultist who is mumbling before the altar.
Father Marshall, what is he saying?
Let me see if I can hear what he's saying.
Okay, give me a wisdom perception check. And then...
Can I aid him or do a check myself or something?
Yeah, you can aid him.
With advantage.
You can aid him. That would be
You can, but I rolled 26.
Ooh, not bad. Oral bringer of winter, oral bringer of life, and bringer of death. Raise up this form from your frozen realm. Breathe your cold life into him once more, that he may serve your dark will.
Okay, I'm
in
gonna.
Your army of winter.
It's a summoning spell.
Very well.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Terms and conditions apply. May not be valid in all states.
Yeah. I think we should not allow him to finish that chant.
I agree.
So Gideon jumps out of his hiding around the pillar, weaves his magic with his wounded hand, And he says, I've never been much for religious Gregorian chant music. And he casts silence on top of the robes.
Okay, silence. Does he get
Yeah.
any kind of save, or is it just silence?
I don't think he does. For the duration, no sound can be created within. Yeah, I just choose a place, and
A
if
point,
he's
and
in
he
it,
is
yeah,
the point, and he
Yeah.
is in it. So that is a 20-foot sphere of silence. And so you hear, Oral, grant us the life that you so bestow to all things in winter. And he is silenced.
does he seem
Okay.
perturbed?
He seems extremely perturbed by
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
He
Mhm.
is screaming, but you can't hear it.
And then I just duck behind the pillar with my back towards the pillar, and it says, I hope that worked. That would do it.
Okay. And with that, he is up again. He visual somatic material. All right, we're gonna give him a check. See what he knows about this kind of stuff.
Marshall will tell Gideon, like, I understand no one can take the center stage from you, can they?
Why did you think I learned the spell in the first place? I will not be outperformed.
Okay, and with this, he moves 25 feet away to the other side of the sarcophagus, and you suddenly hear, "And grant unto us the life that you so bestow unto those who seek the darkness of winter." And he continues chanting and holding up this bright, glowing blue symbol. Finally, he falls silent. And the next thing you hear is the sound of stone on stone as the sarcophagus lid slides away. And a dwarf emerges holding a huge, gleaming battle axe, his eyes glowing a piercing blue as he scans the room as a soldier surveys the battlefield. Erki, you're up.
Erki is raging and frenzied, but tell him more about this battle axe. Make it slow and smooth, just
All
describe
right.
it.
Take your time.
Settle in, little barbarian.
Erki's just
It's sharp. It's glowing. It's carved with dwarven runes. It appears that the blade is so finely honed, you think that it could split stone itself.
That is beautiful. Erki forgets about age and just runs straight towards this dwarf, saying, "Die, undead dwarf!" and starts attacking him.
All right, you can get up to him. You can get up to the sarcophagus, and you can take a swipe at this thing.
He almost hopes it cuts him. He's hoping to get hit by
Yeah,
his
I want
great
to know what that
axe.
feels like. That's right.
Yeah,
Just gotta,
Test
Give
it
it
out.
a gotta test it out. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. We'll see.
If it wasn't him, you'd cut yourself.
So that's I get 3 attacks. So that was I'm assuming 23 is good.
23 is good. This thing is only an AC 13.
Oh, good. Or that is 17 damage.
Okay, that is a hefty dose of damage.
Says, how do you like the feel of my axe? And that is a hit for another 14 damage.
17 and 14 is 23. No, 21.
30,
31.
31. And then The final one, so close to a nat. That's a hit for 15 damage.
15 damage. Okay. This thing is getting cut down considerably, and it already is beginning to look ragged as Erki goes full on butcher to this thing. Marshall, you recall the words of Grackle Roguebeard, the ancestor of Rollin Roguebeard, asking you to please return the body and the axe to him, if possible, to win the friendship of the dwarves. All right, you're just hacking away at this guy like a piece of meat, Erki. It's working. Marshall, you're up.
All right. We're just kind of stunned that just Erki just seeing that and attacking it and just running by us in a blur to do that.
Erki wasn't paying attention to the warnings of the, he didn't hear the mission. He just heard dwarves and fighting.
That's right.
Okay, great. Go fight some dwarves.
Right.
Bring it back in pieces. What? Lots of little
I
pieces.
just yell out, Erki, we need to leave some semblance of the body to return to its family. Not Erki, not in the face.
Not the face. Not the face.
Erki's looking at you and just hacking it. What?
This is what I do.
No, the face, no.
Get it in the face.
No, not in the face.
Oh, beautiful. Marshall, you're up.
Okay. Well, with that, I think I feel that Marshall's more could assist more with actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna come out and just say, well, I guess this is what we're doing, and I'm gonna use my path to the grave on that thing as well, so that the next time that sorry, scratch that. He seems to be doing all right. I'm gonna use path on the grave on the caster guy.
Okay.
So what it was is that until the end of my next turn, next time someone hits him with the attack, he has vulnerability to all of that text damage.
Vulnerability to all of that damage. Okay.
Yeah.
He's not gonna like that.
And then I do want to move a little bit to kind of get behind, if I can, if I'm thinking it behind Erki, so that I can keep an eye on the other zombies that are coming and Erki at the same time.
All right. You got yourself cleric position, as we like to call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it.
Thank you. The ghouls are now streaming in. We've got 3 already in the room. They are going to congregate around our buddy Erki, and 3 more are making their way into the room, and they are headed for Marshall and Gideon. So we got 3 ghouls. Let's start with them. They're going to come into melee range, and they're going to attack our buddy Erki. And we've got only 1 hit, so 7 points of cold damage, and give me a Constitution savings throw.
Okay, damage 7. My const. Okay, that'll be a 17.
Not a problem. Okay. And now Mr. Man himself comes after you with that great axe.
Ooh.
And misses. Swings wide as you continue to go to work on the face.
Erki sadly dodges it.
Yeah,
Maybe next time.
All right. Let's, you got to try. You got to at least try to hit me.
Do better, man.
Do better. I want a solid hit.
You are admiring it as you dodge it, though. You're like, oh, that's excellent tilt work right there.
Wow. Oh, the finish there. Oh, that's
that is nice. That is some serious.
Is that ramhide?
Can you bring your torch closer?
And with that, Gideon, you are up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what Marshall did change is what I wanted to do. Yeah, Gideon knows what it was that you did to him, that he's now vulnerable to damage, right? Or do you tell him? Or
Yeah. I pointed out that I've given the curse of Osiris.
Yeah. Very well. Then let's see how he thinks of this. And Gideon once again casts Dissonant Whispers on the roped person at level. I was gonna say level 3. Yeah, level 3.
Level 3, DC 17 Wisdom save.
Yep.
At the man in blue.
Mm-hmm.
And he fails. What do we got?
20 damage, 20 psychic damage, and he has to use his
Right.
reaction.
20 points of psychic
if he's vulnerable, it should be doubled.
If he's vulnerable, it should be doubled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is correct. And with that, those dissonant whispers, the stacking combination of Marshall making him vulnerable, and then Gideon going in with the final blow, for it is the final blow, causes him to claw at the air momentarily as this damage rings out in his head, and he slumps to the ground, lifeless. Okay. Would have been his turn, but it's not his turn now. Erki, you're up. You got 3 ghouls on you and the big guy.
The ghouls didn't have any reaction or anything when that guy fell?
Yeah, the big guy.
Or anything?
When that guy fell,
Everything's still the same.
They're still being them, basically.
Gotcha.
And they're clearly no longer under his sort of control or sway, but they are hungry.
Yeah, they still gotta eat.
You gotta do you.
You gotta do you. That's right. When you're a ghoul.
Yeah.
Erki's up.
They don't get many visitors, so
It's true,
I respect that. Yeah. So here's the thing about bringing this body back with us in one piece. I can't see how I knock an undead creature unconscious.
Not really. No.
No. I suppose I could remove his arms and legs, because we can just kind of cinch him back later. So that'll be the focus.
Okay.
On my 3 swings.
I'm very much seeing the Black Knight scene from Monty Python at this point.
We're going right shoulder, left shoulder, waist. yeah.
Definitely, yes. All that butcher training is coming in handy right here. As you separated the ligaments, separate cleanly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, ideally he says, all right, we'll call it a draw. So, here we go. First swing. That is a natural 20. What's happening? Look at it.
It's
so
beautiful. It's beautiful. What's not to like about those 2 numbers together?
I'm
2
so excited.
and 0. So
I feel like I just won Miss America right now.
Yeah. Handing Erki some flowers. There he is.
That's right.
Oh,
Spotlight
favorite
goes
barbarian.
What a horrible image of Erki with the sash. Says Forgotten Realms, but he's got this elegant dress on. Okay. So, okay.
Oh, please don't remind me of Erki in a dress ever again.
Miss Forgotten Realms. Let's see the damage.
Miss Forgotten Realms. That's right. 1342 DR. That's right.
So that's 7 damage, and 2 damage is 9, and 8 damage is 17 plus a 25 damage.
That is enough, Erki, sir.
So he just shoulder, waist. And he looks at Marshall like, yeah, it's his body's there.
Yeah,
and
it's there.
So that's 1 attack. He has 2 more attacks.
He has 2 more attacks. You got 3 ghouls on you, but I'd like to point out that as soon as you get the waist shot, comes clean. All the different body parts go to the ground, and as soon as they hit the ground, they shatter into little pieces of ice, leaving only his helmet and his greataxe on a small mound of ice cubes. 3 more ghouls on you, Erki.
Well, ask for forgiveness, not permission, right? So I guess Erki, can he use one of his 2 attacks to pick up this great axe
Yeah.
and then swing it really hard? Or will he have to?
Well, maybe
you
Erki
can
makes a
drop your
save when
current.
he drops it. Like if when he broke up, the axe started falling. Can you make a
What
save?
if what if he uses his inspiration point and then gets to attack twice? So his inspiration gets him his axe, and he's still got 2 attacks with it.
DM bargaining hour.
Yeah.
I'll give you 1 inspiration point plus. It's it's just called the rule of cool. I'm gonna let you do it. Give me your inspiration point.
Cool.
Grab the axe. Beautiful Corinthian leather.
Mhm.
Feels good. Feels
Yeah.
right. It's gorgeously balanced. You can tell right away. It just holds in the hand so nicely. And as soon as you get it into your hands, those dwarven runes just sort of light up blue, and you can just see the sheen.
Ooh.
There on the blade. I'm gonna give you 2 attacks with this thing. You got 3 ghouls on you.
Okay. You hear Erki laugh. It's usually this low belly laugh, but this one's, weirdly boyish and shrill. And he starts swinging. So that's a bad swing. That's an 11.
Okay, and you get to add +2 to that, and these are AC 13s.
Then that's a 13.
An attack you normally would have missed with, but because of the beautifully balanced nature of this blade, you were sure you hit wide, and the blade just was like, nope, you're going to hit, buddy. Roll up your damage.
Took him home.
And add +2 to that damage as well when you roll it.
What?
Wow.
That's 22 damage.
Oh my god! And it's as though the blade just knows you and knows what you want. It goes right in, and that is a killing blow in 1.
Oh my god. Now that laugh is just, it could break glass. He is so giddy. He swings again. That's gonna hit with flying colors for another 22 damage. What is happening? This is the best day of my life. God. Oh, dwarves. God, I love dwarves.
Beautiful.
Happy birthday, Erki.
Oh
Happy
my
birthday,
god.
Erki.
Yes, that's it. Is it the 30th of Kythorn? This is Erki's birthday. I
This
don't know
is
what.
the 30th of the guy there, and this is Erki's birthday.
He's 34 today. This is totally happening.
Happy birthday to you. 2 ghouls in 1. This thing feels like it was just made to be in hands.
Wow.
Marshall, we got a ghoul on Erki and 3 in the wings headed toward you guys. That's it.
Wow. I'm just like in awe of what I'm seeing playing out right in front of me. It's just so amazing. Marshall was like kind of prepared, and he's like, oh. Okay, in that case, 2 more ghouls coming.
Yep.
Just cast turn on them too. I'll be like not even looking at them, like, yeah, Osiris.
Yeah.
Gate.
Osiris, just you guys
just
you don't want to get into this anyway, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing you a favor here, guys. Yeah. Okay, and you can get the 1 on Erki as well. So we got 3 whiz saves, DC 16.
Correct.
And we got 2 fails and a success. Let's see who that success is. It is not one of the ones on Erki. So 1 final ghoul, kind of waiting in the wings, just kind of looks at you and stares at you, and it's clear he thinks you look pretty tasty. The other one starts going to hightail it on his turn back, as is the one that's currently on Erki, but it's not their turn just yet. Anything else you want to do?
No, maybe just back up a little bit away from the ghoul.
Just slightly strolling back from the one ghoul that resisted the will of Osiris. Meanwhile, those other 2 ghouls are going to hightail it. Erki, you get an opportunity attack. on this guy.
Very well. Very well.
Just keep swinging, Merle.
That's a hit for 21 damage.
And that's with your +2.
Oh, that's with the +2.
Okay, and this thing is almost completely felled. I mean, there's just like a tiny little ligament of life to which he is still clinging as he goes sort of crawling for the door. Meanwhile, the other, let's see, 2 of the other 3 are on their way out. And one of these ghouls has just managed to hold steadfast. He really likes Marshall. He really looks hungry, and he runs up, and he manages to get in range and take a swipe at Brother Marshall, and misses. So you are now in melee with a ghoul
Disappointing.
who cannot
Yeah.
hit you. Gids, you're up.
Mhm.
Mediocre.
Not impressed.
Impressive.
So yeah, Gideon doesn't have many kills to his name. Yeah, he doesn't really tries or wants to make the finishing blow. So yeah, he's a bit surprised of the effect of his spell, and he just turns towards Marshall and says that was quite effective. Oh, and yeah, I'll help with that. And he casts Dissonant Whispers on the ghoul on Marshall. Wisdom save DC 17.
All right, DC 17 whiz save, and that's a fail. Boy, the boys in blue are rolling bad today.
So that's 9 psychic damage, and he runs away.
9 psychic damage and a runaway. Okay, so he's down to that. And Brother Marshall, you get an opportunity attack if you want to use your action for that.
Sure. Why not? Let's just. I look at Erki's axe. And I look at my tiny little mace. I'm like, well, whatever. And I'll just swing the handle with the mace. 10.
10. 10 is not enough.
Yeah.
You go nipping at his heels as the creature turns to run.
I don't even know why I bring this thing. Or why do I carry this?
All the ghouls except the one on Marshall. No, even the one on Marshall. All the ghouls are racing toward this tunnel. You know that they're back there. You know that they're running away from you guys. And you hold in your hands a blade that just feels right.
Erki lets them run. And he just starts talking to the blade. He's just looking at it, whispering to it. It's a private moment. Probably just even awkward to see, it feels real private. He's maybe gently caressing it with his thumb and just looking her over, holding her to the light. Oh, there's a helm to look at too. That seems kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a dwarven-sized helm that rises up into a point, decorated with relief in the middle, some kind of great battle, with dwarves on one side facing off against elves on another.
Seems like a good fight. All right, cool. So they've left.
But we're still in combat, right?
Well, so that dissonant whispers at some point is going to wear off. Am I right? They're going to be able to make a wisdom save and potentially come back.
Well, yeah. It's only his reaction to move away. He's not actually frightened. He might just turn back on his round.
He might turn back on you, but they're all headed toward the tunnel.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say they seem to be congregating in that tunnel. And so far they haven't come back. So if you want to exit turn order, we can do that. And you guys can kind of regroup and see what you want to do. They're not going to return to the tunnel, or if they do, we'll start again at the top of the turn order with Erki again.
I would say what Marshall would like to say is perhaps we can at least collect these shards in the helmet to present as what we can, what's left of Roguebeard.
And the body of this mage.
As well.
Gideon moves closer to the mage and says, "I am not very eager for taking a life, but since I've lived for so long that I have in the Feywild, I cannot help but feel resentment towards someone who's so anti-life." And he's gonna try to have a look at him, I guess, and investigate, see if get some sweet loot.
Some sweet loot? Yeah, why not? Let's see what he's got.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a beautiful medallion. And how's your religion? Go ahead, give me a religion check.
I'm just kind of like haphazardly, like thinking, like, I guess I'll take these shards or there's something, and I'm like sweeping them up and gathering in the helm and stuff over like a bucket of the dwarf shards. Something, I don't know. Marshall just kind of doesn't know what to do.
You got a basically a holding bag of ice with a dwarf helmet in it,
Yeah.
and some bits and pieces, but it's
Nose.
a bit of a
Ear.
mess. Someone made a bit of a mess in the ice rink today.
Mm.
How's that religion check?
Yeah, Gideon is using his mage hand to just pick up the items. He's a bit reluctant to touch this guy, but he rolled an 8 on religion.
8 on religion. Looks like a snowflake. Not exactly sure. Some kind of snowflake symbol. He was definitely holding it up. You're not sure if it's a spellcasting focus or what.
It was magical.
It definitely is magical. And if you go give me 2d20.
Oh no, what is this?
Oh boy.
Yes. Oh, it's a 10 and a natural 20.
A 10 and a nat 20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Gimme.
It's got to be like 7 nat 20s we've had. 6, something.
Dude,
Wow.
You're right.
Yeah. I think I've had 3, and Gideon's had 2, and Marshall's had 1.
I had 1.
Hey, we're over
Incredible.
20s. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty nice roll.
All right.
Yeah.
He so as you're going through the pockets in the inside of his blue cloak, you come upon, this is fortunately with your mage hand.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you use mage hand, folks.
Yes.
A string of rat skulls that have been sewn together with rough, some kind of rough thread or rope, and a funny looking kind of wand inside of there, the tip of which is silvered, and there's a little skull on the tip on one side, and there's a little dove on the other, and it is glowing. It is clearly magical.
You can keep that necklace. I don't want that.
Was there anything magical about the necklace?
It does not. Do you still have your? It's 10 minutes. Yeah.
Detect magic?
Yeah.
I only had it when I entered the room, so I saw that his thing was magical, but I don't have it anymore. I broke concentration.
Yeah. It looks like rat skulls. You're not totally convinced that that he didn't think they were valuable for some reason.
Sure. I'll cast Detect Magic again, just to be sure.
Okay. And so this thing.
I'm holding it like this with my mage hand. Is it magical or not? Else I'm just dropping it.
And as soon as it ceases to glow, it hits the frozen ground and just shatters. It is nothing more than ordinary rat skulls.
No, thank you. Not my thing.
Not even premium rat skulls, just ordinary.
Just low grade.
Yes.
That said, this little wand does indeed begin glowing. Each of the 2 tips glow.
Perhaps we should start considering how to get out of here.
We got what we came for, right? Are we done?
Right. I believe so. unless our friends decide to join us again. But I think if they do, we have a pretty good way of dealing with them right now. Wouldn't you
Such a
say, Erki?
shame. Yeah. I hope they decide to come on over and I can practice my new axe a few more times. I don't know how interested Erki is in giving this axe back,
Yeah.
but maybe we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah, that's a
Oh, we
discussion
can
for
talk
later.
now. We can talk now. So, what's the plan to get out of here?
We cleared the room, right? There's nothing else in the
There's nothing else in the room.
tomb
Yeah.
or in the
No, the
sarcophagus.
only there doesn't appear to be anything in the sarcophagus other than scraps of long rotted clothing.
The only way I saw was where they all ran, and if my magic is to tell them to flee this place as far as they can away from me. So I'd imagine that's a good way out, unless we can find another way out.
Well,
Friends.
the pendulums are stopped, right? So
That's true.
They are at the
We
moment,
could
and you know
just-
that the warmth of the floor, something to do with the warmth of the floor and your presence near the middle of the room, seems to be what triggered them. Although Gideon's dispel magic has removed the warmth from the floor for now.
right.
We can just head back that way, I suppose.
Mhm.
Yes,
okay with
indeed.
that.
Okay.
So I'll pick up my other axe and the mage.
He feels inferior now. I mean, it feels like, it was a good axe, but you're like,
Yeah.
why did I love this axe so much?
Yeah.
It feels funny. It feels, yeah.
Already forgotten.
Yeah. And so you
know,
got the two
our
axes
times together.
Two axes on your back, one on each side, and the one with the dwarven runes in it, you swear is going to kind of whispering in your ear. It's whispering in Dwarvish. You don't speak Dwarvish, but it's trying to tell you something.
Okay.
And with that, you manage to make your way back out of the tomb, blinking into the sunlight carefully and gradually, stepping on the icy steps as you go. Erki is sure to keep one of the torches in the upright position as you step over that fateful fourth step, and you find yourselves in sunlight, making your way back to the Starlight Tavern in Silvery Moon. It is around dusk, and Grackle Roguebeard will be back there, eager to hear what went on in the tomb and what happened. So the three of you are discussing what you're going to say to him before you get there.
I have one quick question.
Hmm?
When we came out of there, did the ice shards stay ice shards in the helmet, or did they melt? So like, did it
Yeah, no. As you come out of there, so was that in your bag of holding?
No, I'm just kind of carrying it.
It's a normal bag.
Yeah.
It does start to become soggy. Yeah, then
Oh.
it does start to become soggy in
All
the,
my stuff
the
gets
normal
wet. Great.
temperature of the outdoors. It is a very cold landscape, but not nearly as cold as that
Yeah.
ice chest you were just in. So that
Okay.
they are going to melt.
The helmet wasn't magical.
The helmet was not magical. Beautiful, though. Definitely fetched
Okay.
a fair price.
Well, we've completed the task that they've asked us to. We unfortunately do not have a body to present, but perhaps with our story in this helm, they can understand what happened, and we can explain it to them, especially with the body of that caster.
Yeah. I mean, normally I feel like if you really love and honor this body, you would have gone in for it yourself. And so they can have the helm and this mage, but I don't see why they get this axe. I fought for this axe. It should go to a brave warrior. I'm a brave warrior, and they're people who hire people to go do their danger work for them. So that's how I feel.
That axe is, however, an heirloom to the family of Roguebeard. I do not know the family history, but I can imagine they would be very attached to it.
Well, I was hoping to ask their king as a favor for a great axe. So
Well,
I feel like
perhaps we can talk to them and ask them if they feel that their ancestors have provided us on this path to help them, and we help put to rest their relative with the axe, but maybe they don't necessarily need to know all the details of what happened in there.
So
But
you're saying don't tell them we killed him with his own axe.
I'm definitely saying that, yes.
Okay.
But at the same time, this, I agree with Gideon. This is their family axe. This is part of what we're charged. But if you proved yourself worthy, and if we explain the reason why you came to this was to try to find such a weapon, perhaps we can convince them that this is the divine that's leading us to this. It just would require a little bit of faith on your part, Erki.
I suppose if you two do the talking, and I still reserve the right to disagree at some point, whether or not the talking goes the way I hope. Okay, let's go talk to them. And he says, "We'll be together soon, my love."
Evening is set on Silvery Moon, and the Starlight Tavern is abuzz with its patrons, all of whom turn to look at you. Erki, in particular, covered in blood, ripped up by pendula, and only minorly slashed and scratched by the actual undead he faced that day. They go back to murmuring they've seen this kind of thing before, and at the back of the tavern is, of course, your buddy Grackle Roguebeard, who stands up as soon as he sees you and says, "You're alive! What news?"
I'll pull out the helm and I'll just say, "My friend, unfortunately, this is all that remains of the Roguebeard." And I explained to them what happened, that there was a person there who was trying to perform necromancy on his ancestors, and we stopped them, but in the course of the battle, the body shattered based on the spell. I would believe on the spell on it, and this is all that remains.
But the important thing, Father Marshal, is that you've recovered the axe. And he points to the great axe slung obviously over Erki's back. That axe is so important to this family. I cannot thank you enough. You will definitely be getting an audience with the higher powers here in the Dwarven Kingdom.
Dear Mr. Ronald, if you don't mind, it is my profession after all. It's about to be to retell stories and great deeds, and I feel I must express a great deed that I have seen during our time in these tombs. You see, there was indeed a necromancer, and he was summoning hordes of undead, and he indeed raised your great ancestor from the dead to fight alongside him for his no doubt nefarious deeds. But I am here to tell you of what happened next. It was it's difficult to describe. It was quite amazing. You see, in the heat of battle, my dear friend here, and he points towards Erki. Erki here, he saw the chance to grab a hold of the axe during the fight, and he managed to slay this necromancer and the hordes of undead as they came across it. There was a radiance about him, like he was a hero of the legends of the great bardic tales. It was indeed quite inspiring.
He put them to rest. He quelled their unrest. He brought peace to your ancestors. He took up in the spirit of your ancestors and wielded this great axe with such ease and promise that it just seems to us to be divine in nature, almost as your ancestors were calling out to him, as if the axe itself was speaking to him.
Aye, beautiful. As
Erki
though
wipes a tear out of his-
Moradin himself had come through this great warrior to wield the axe of my family, and to bring vengeance and justice through its keen blade. I thank you. I thank you greatly. I will be sure to report this to our higher-ups, shall we say. And I believe that they may be able to secure for you an equally wonderful blade, should you so desire. But I must ask at this point that you return the family heirloom to the family.
Kind of just
How,
look at her.
How
faith,
equal
brother.
are we? How equal are we talking here? Because this is the most incredible thing I've ever held in my hand, and I just want to. Because someone help me out, I just want to keep it. But it is yours, and it was. Just take it. Just take it. He pulls it off and he gives it to him. He goes over to the bar and just starts drinking.
First round's on me, Erki. First round's on me. You're a good man and noble. And that nobility, that doing right in the world, that'll take you further than any one deed of selfishness. I promise you that. I'm going to let them know you're coming. I'm going to let them know you're coming in Sundabar. You'll have a blade. I promise you that. You'll have a blade that feels as right and true as this one, but that is yours, and yours to pass on to your own kin and kind. You'll have your blade, Erki. But for now, you have that good feeling, having done the right thing, and most importantly, done the right thing by a dwarf. And I think we'll end there.
Oh,
I got a little tense there. I didn't know what Erki was going to do.
I didn't either.
know
I didn't either. I thought we might have. I thought I might have to roll up a whole bunch of commoners for the Starlight Tavern to get butchered.
Yeah,
Right.
doing a good thing for a dwarf isn't exactly warming as the cockles of his heart at the moment.
No, not so much.
Yeah,
not so much.
The axe in hand is far greater than an axe promised later.
I tell you what, man. I tell you what. That looked a lot more painful than getting hit with those pendulums.
Yeah.
That's for
Yeah,
sure.
I'll take a pendulum, but I think just the idea of having to sit there and try to use words to convey he wants to keep was just too hard, just too much. He was sad and angry and hopeful, and he just like, just take it, walks away.
Not a fight you can
at the
win.
end of the day, it's Gideon and Marshall, they're his, they're the ones in charge, I think. So it's like, all right, they promised another one, that's enough.
That's something.
There you go.
Just gotta have faith.
Well, another adventure in the bag. You've got some good stuff there, so we'll talk about it later. But you've got that helmet's worth about 50 gold pieces, and that rod is a rod of resurrection.
Ooh.
And Marshall, you
Yep.
might be interested in something like that. If you can
Well,
get it out of Gideon's gilded hands, we'll find out.
Well, if Gideon's holding it in a certain hand, it'll be easier to get out of it.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
I'll just wait till
Amen.
Gideon's holding it in the other hand, and like,
He'll only have 80% of his normal grip there on that one. Yeah, good. Well, why don't we just roll into a quick debrief?
Yeah.
How did you find it? How did that go? Anything unexpected? Anything highlights, lowlights, midnights?
I think it was a little like traps are always odd because it's like you really have to, at least for me, the visualization of the trap in my head, it's a little more difficult to try to fully get that sometimes, especially when it's like got multiple mechanics.
Yeah.
But that could just be me and my headspace because other things I don't have so much of a problem with. And so that was just a little. I mean, character wise, it's like trying to figure out like I don't know because my skill set's not such to really deal with that kind of stuff. But that's where you rely on the party, right? The party will do
Yeah.
other stuff to help you out and figure things out, and so that was it was frustrating that a little bit from like my character trying to figure out, but it was actually very satisfying once we did figure how to traverse some of that stuff altogether.
Mhm. Yeah, clerics clean up the results of traps, whereas rogues
Yeah.
try to prevent those results from
Yeah.
happening. So you're a little bit on the back foot when it comes to traps. Yeah, that's interesting. This one I kind of I was thinking our first one really kind of focused on Erki and Erki's backstory, and then Gideon
Mhm.
had a kind of a Feywild thing and a heavy negotiation at the end. So I was just going, right, what are we going to do for a cleric? And I just went, this guy needs some undead.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, not only was there undead, but there were a lot of traps. So
Yeah.
it was a bit of a back foot, bit on the back foot for a cleric to
Yeah.
try and figure out, or for any of you
Mixed
guys, to try
mixed
and figure
mixed
out.
bag. Mixed bag. as far
Mixed
as-
bag, mixed bag. But you did get to turn some undead. I think
Oh
that's
yeah. That's
that's
always
the
a
first
fun.
time you've actually turned them with this character. Previously, you just turned them to dust because they were underneath a certain challenge rating.
Right. Just
But yeah,
dusted them. Yeah.
make them run.
It is interesting trying to manage the running and when's to running and not manning versus just like, oh, they're gone. So the higher CR ones, okay, those guys are running over there. These ones are not running yet. So maybe turn those. It's fun though. It's fun. As a cleric, it's fun.
Yeah.
I like what I like most, I think, about the one shots is that you've got your whole character's bag of tricks and you can pull them out. You're not going, okay, campaign, I don't know when our next rest is. I'm going to hold this and that back. Like, you get to just sort of go all in. I think that's a pretty fun element. Like, I just get to pull frenzy mode out and have 3 attacks. It's kind of nice.
Indeed, and I'm just handing out my bardic inspiration to everybody, and they're using all my resources basically.
Oh my god, your bardic inspiration saved me twice.
Really?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Still have one, I think.
Nice. Yeah, and it was this was a 5-room dungeon, and it seemed to be about the right scope. I pretty much found a 5-roomer will get you a 2 to 3 hour one shot. Anything more than that, and you're just going to be missing a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys really hit a lot of it. You didn't go through the ghoul tunnel. Well, there wasn't much in the ghoul tunnel, frankly, besides ghouls. So you really kind of cleared out the dungeon pretty nicely, which is always satisfying for a DM because none of your cool stuff, just all of your cool stuff gets found and used.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing.
Yeah. Thanks for putting my mind to rest because I was wondering what's in that tunnel.
What's in that tunnel? Yeah. You always gotta wonder.
I have to know everybody. I have to know everything.
Do all the side quests. Do all the side quests.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was their way in around the traps, basically.
It is funny looking at my character sheet right now. I'm at full hit points with 8 temp hit points too. Thinking about earlier in that, I was like, oh my god, we're gonna die.
Yeah,
we're all gonna die.
Oh, like Harfield.
Yeah, I'm near bloodied. It took probably in the course of all of that, over 100 damage. Well over, I would be unconscious.
Yeah, had you not a cleric, you definitely would have. Yeah, definitely
Take
would
it.
have hit it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty tactical. I think a pretty tactical adventure in some ways. Traps are kind of pretty, tactical
Yeah.
in their way. They're a resource drain, and then you got the big ghoul battle at the end.
Mhm.
There was a lot of tactics, but you guys had a lot of fun role play moments as well. I loved, that your characters are your characters, whether you're disarming a trap or fighting a bunch of weird undead or anything else. So
Mhm.
it was great fun to watch. Great fun to watch.
I think personally, for me, the highlight was the pendulum and the traps, as
Yeah.
has been mentioned.
Yeah.
Just, it was really a challenge. I think for the whole party, basically. I mean, I wouldn't trying to figure out how it works and how to get past it.
I love the high
Right.
five life. I thought that was so great that
Yeah.
you can time that high five just right. You can teleport, and if not, So Gideon's definitely going to be looking for some greater restoration or something. I'm sure
Yeah.
for that
Man,
strum in hand.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's a cool trap because once the trap's triggered, the challenge isn't over, which I think is a
Right.
clever trap.
Yeah.
If it's just like,
Right.
Something swung out and hit you, and then you keep
Right.
moving,
Right.
this one's engaging. It's cool.
Yeah. Traps that exactly that go on over time. That you've got to make subsequent skill checks to get around or to disarm or that kind of thing. They're always fun. And it's always fun when you're in the trap, rather than like you said, the trap comes out and hits you. It's like, no,
Yeah.
the trap is still all around you. You're
Yeah.
you're in the trap. So
Yeah,
Right,
it's,
right.
it's
take
it's something you
inspiration.
have to deal with.
That's
you
right.
can't
That's
just
right.
say,
Yeah,
"All right,
it's
move
not
on."
like you just an annoyance that now is past.
Mhm.
It's like, no, yeah. So
Right.
Goonies is great
Exactly.
inspiration. There's this great series in the 80s called Grimtooth's Traps, where they just made these diabolical kind of Rube Goldberg-esque, super crazy intricate traps for D&D. And
Oh,
so
wow.
it's a little homage to that. I mean, this is just 6 pendulums, but that
Right.
would have just all kinds of crazy. But this, one of the classic ones is a ramp into a pit of spikes kind of thing, or something like that, or swinging pendulums. But yeah, good. Yeah, no, I thought that was fun. The trap was kind of interesting. It was more the kind of center of it, even than the undead, just
Yeah.
because you went that way. You went that route rather than into the tunnel of ghouls.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a
very
better
cool.
idea. Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, I think this was good fun. I think not a lot to say on my side other than it went, kind of flowed the way in terms of the structure that was presented to it. But there were tons of unexpected moments. The cultist didn't get to raise, his supergast in time really. So Erki got to go to town on him and got that beautiful axe. But I love that moment when Erki was just started talking to the blade. It really was.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
was.
He was in love.
I'm loving this. We found it in campaign mode. I'm just realizing, there's just not much about dwarves Erki doesn't love. They make the best loot, and they love to wrestle. And so he could wrestle sort of 3 at once.
3,
These tough
4.
little guys.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 if he's got
And
enough
they-
drink in him.
And they
Yeah.
love beer. They love beer.
Love
They
beer.
love beer. Yeah.
Beer.
Yeah. So this
gems,
was
smithery.
this went as well as he could have possibly hoped, as far as getting even just a moment with that axe is, going to have beautiful dreams at night,
Dreams from
every
now
now
on.
and again. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
and in the end, you didn't get the axe, but I still think it was a pretty good ending in a way to the one
Yeah.
shot in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the right side of chaotic neutral, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
This guy was like, this means a lot to my family, and that's enough. He doesn't have the polish to the maturity really to say, I want this axe, but it's better you have it. He could just give it to him and walk away. It's all he's got, But
Yeah.
Don't look at it again. Don't
yeah.
look at it again.
Yeah.
He's learning to use his words as a word user. Yeah.
A regular word user.
Irregular word user.
Nice. All right. Well, this may not be the
Yeah.
only run-in with cultists of Auril in the frozen north, or of course dwarves and possibly some undead. But it was a good little taste. And yeah, in the campaign we're up in the frozen north, so we'll see what the next side quest is for next time. But
That's cool.
Excellent.
good times. All right, we'll take us out for tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you like this, be sure to subscribe, follow, whatever, so you can get more of this. We do this on Wednesdays. It's 11 Pacific time, 2 p.m. on the East Coast, 7 p.m. here in the UK, which is 8 p.m. in good old Western Europe. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.